Well, good afternoon. And immediately we've got a problem. No, there we are. No problem at all. Uh, this is just a little tea time with Tommy type of thing. I was looking through some archives that we need to use for something else. Archives for us, well, we're 4 years of age. And I think that there were a couple of things that I came across, and I thought, as we come to the end of a week, okay, there's still tomorrow to go. It's been a pretty tough 4 days. It's been a pretty tough month. It's been a pretty tough year so far because of COVID and lockdown and all the other naughty things. So I started to have a little bit of a giggle, and I thought, this might just appeal to some people. So why not have a sort of a tea time potpourri you can dip into and dip out of, not pay any attention to at all. But let's have a little go at a few things, and I'll try to explain them along the way. But first of all, this is the collage that we did to begin with, just to say what a wonderful town we live in. Well, it's there somewhere. There we go. Oh, there we are. That's Lewis as we saw it in those days. Not too much different, really, except that there's a lot of activity, a lot of a hive of activity, in fact. Whereas right this very minute, because of the circumstance we find ourselves in, what we did, we're finding streets empty. Anyway, here's another one because we didn't have well, we had less money in those days than we've got now, and that's not so much. But this is how we you used to think about the weather. There somewhere. There we go.
Hi, welcome to Mirador Television. This is local TV, but probably not local TV as you know it. We don't have much cash, so for one thing, we have to do much of our stuff outside. We don't even have a studio. So we don't even have a weather presenter. But we will try to bring you the weather. So when you see me with an umbrella, it's raining. So when I have my walking stick, it's fine. If my hat blows off, it's windy. And if I'm wearing a bikini, it's hot. Not that you're going to see me in a bikini very often. The body's gone, you see. Not a pretty sight. But when it comes to mixed weather, well, we really have a problem. It's silly of us to serve up the same old rubbish that you can see on regular television, so we're serving up rubbish of our own. But I hope that it's nutty enough to bring you back to watch us again. Stick with us, Nutty TV.
Oh, there we are, Nutty TV. Uh, where have we gone there? um, and that was the way that well, actually, we were a bit more sophisticated about the weather than that. We're, in fact, a bit more sophisticated than we are today. But then, when we were playing around with things and having a bit of fun, that's what we came up with. Now, the next bit is we did something called What? WOT, because we wanted to try and show people um, what went on in our town, and hopefully I've got it here somewhere. Um, I think that oh, who knows? No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. So perhaps we don't have it. But the thing called was sort of interesting, and we what we did was we looked at various things and said, "What is this? What is that? What is the other?" And then we perhaps it is. Who knows? Oh, that's the way a lot of people would prefer to see me.
What is a weekly look about the interesting things that happen in our town? Those of us who live here know about them, but to a visitor, they might find them very interesting. This is ancient Keir Street. It's said that in the early 1800s, the Prince Regent won a bet by driving a coach and four down it. The Norman castle in Lewes, though small, is one of the oldest in the country. A wooden Saxon fort stood on the mound until 1080. Then William de Varenne, the first Lord of Lewes, built this stone bailey as his stronghold. A tiny castle for a tiny town. Famous celebrations of November the 5th. They're huge. Almost every one of the townsfolk takes part. He goes way back before the gunpowder plot to Queen Mary's burning of religious martyrs in the centre of the town in 1556. Free beer? Of course not. But this pub, the Brewers Arms, is one of several independently owned pubs in the town. At one time in the 1800s, Lewes had 63 pubs and 17 breweries, and just a population of 9,000, but no free beer. Well, there are the Mirador cameras trying to keep a visual record of what goes on in the town. the famous Bluebell Railway. 11 miles of track carrying lovingly restored steam trains from Sheffield Park, just outside Lewes, to East Grinstead. The line opened in 1882. As the name suggests, the railway runs through wonderful bluebell woods, worth every puff. This is indeed a rare sight. Southern Rail was on strike so frequently, trains in motion were not often seen. This is the annual raft race down the River Ouse from Lewes to Newhaven. It's more than 40 years old. It raises funds for charity and contestants build their own rafts and try to sink the opposition. Staying with water, this is a lovely spot in Lewes known as the Pells. It was given to the town in 1603. It's the oldest operating swimming water pool in Britain. Lewes has several charming and interesting cafes, despite the presence of dull, uninteresting chain cafes in the town. The ports boast the best breakfast, and it's certainly very, very good. I can attest to that. Then there's the Runaway. Despite attempts by the rapacious railway barons to shut it, this bistro has been on Lewes Station for more than 30 years. Famous for its bacon sandwiches, Princess Di once stopped by for one. My favourite spot, especially at 6 o'clock on a summer morning, is the Priory. The building started in 1084, just 18 years after the Norman invasion. The Priory withstood the Battle of Lewes in 1264 and raids from the French during the 100 Years' War, but fell to the vandalism of Thomas Cromwell in 1535, as Henry VIII dissolved the monasteries. This is the Crown Court, and Assizes has been located in Lewes since early Norman times and has seen many famous trials. Finally, the stocks. Stocks have been used in Lewes for more than 9 centuries. Some say the punishment is still on the statute books. These are old stocks from around the country, but Lewes's stocks still sit in the grounds of the castle. Lots more interesting places in Lewes. If you live here, enjoy exploring. If you're a visitor, take a tour. We're rich in history. Oh, generally, what have you been up to?
Yeah, what's on then? Well, it may be a bit of fun, but what the heck?
Well, there we are. That's a look. And now I'm just going to leave you with one that you can actually, uh, well, you can pop in and out. It's a bit longer than the others, but it needs a bit of explanation because the Priory, which you heard mentioned there, is very rich in history, and we tried to explain it through the knight, which is our emblem up here. Is and that stands in the castle grounds in a memorial to the Battle of Lewes in 1264. We've named him Sir Genry, and he's a fine example of a medieval knight. Stands about of a medieval knight's helmet, I should say. It stands about 7 feet tall, very imposing indeed. So we animated him as much as we could in those days, and we made him team up with somebody called Sir Edward Stick, who was nominally the walking stick of a colonel who had been born in the 1920s and had come through to the 1980s, 90s, etc. So if you're a bit confused about some of the references, but I don't think you'll be confused about some of the key issues of this wonderful, wonderful place. Yeah, it's a pile of stone now, I suppose some people would say. You only got to go down there and you get this feeling of history all around you, all around you. So let's Let's have a go. Add to stream. Should be there.
He'll be there for you. Be there for you. He'll be there for you. Be there for you. And he'll be
A very good day to you. I'm Edward Sticker Squire. If you stay around long enough with Mirador television, we'll see a lot of one another. This is Lewis Priory. Some people think it's just a pile of old stones. I suppose if you want to see it like that, you can. But between 1084 and 1537, it was a magnificent Cluniac priory. It had its share of troubles. King William didn't want it built at all. Some of the monks and some of the buildings were roughed up when the Battle of Lewes spilled over into its grounds in 1264. The French attacked it during the 100 Years' War of the 14th and 15th centuries. King Henry VIII tried to pull it down in 1537. And the good citizens of Lewes looted the bricks and stones to build other grand houses and homes. But it's still here. These fascinating ruins tell a fascinating story. Their guardian is my friend Genry. Genry is a medieval knight who fought in the Battle of Lewes and now stands vigil over the buildings and grounds. We've become good pals, and he's agreed that over the next series of programs we should tell you about the Priory and the things that have happened here over the past 1,000 years. We also want to put it into context, so we'll mix in stories about Lewes under the Romans and its development with the Saxons. I hope we turn out to be good storytellers, because it's some story. And there's the added bonus of hearing the beautiful voice of our friend Yeva. Mixed in with some ghostly chanting monks and perhaps a little medieval music. I hope it's a program you'll pop in to see from time to time. Must go and see Genry now. We've a lot of planning to do. Okay, Yeva, sing us out. Doodle pip.
never bring you down or leave you alone. Trust him all in all, 'cause he's the light. He'll lead your way through darkest of times. He'll never let you go. And he'll be there for you. And he'll be there for you.
Well, there you are. Just a little bit of a reminisce there. A couple of people have watching and have made comments. One, Robert MacDonald, who appears on this program from time to time, and he says a lot of the pictures are fuzzy, and they may well be, and I shall double check them on the phone, particularly because if they can be seen on the phone, then they're okay, and if they can't, then of course they're not. So that'll be interesting to know whether we can play that sort of material again or not. It looks perfectly all right when it's going out from here, but that doesn't mean a damn thing. It's how you receive it. So thanks for that, Robert. And Terry Headington, who looks after the wonderful group of youngsters in New York. Well, she's associated with them, let's put it that way. And she must have watched, I think, the weather thing, because she says it's hilarious. Yeah, well, we did have some fun. We do have some fun. And let's hope that there's going to be more and more fun now that we are beginning to see a glimmer of daylight from COVID. That's just a little tiny tales for tea time. I don't know whether it'll be a regular thing or not. It depends how much time we've got in sussing these things out. But I needed them from somebody else, so there we are. That was a little bit of fun and games on a Thursday afternoon. It's Thursday, the 25th of February, 2021. Not the most auspicious time in the world's history, but nonetheless, I think perhaps a time we can have just a little bit of a giggle. So, Robert, thank you for your comments, and Terry, thank you for yours. And we'll go back to the drawing board if it's needed, and perhaps pop one of these up every now and again. I won't say regularly. Okay, that's it for today, and I think it's time to go and have a pint. Except it's not pint time yet. What it is, I shall be out through the front door like a shot the moment that. Well, I don't suppose. I suppose they'll be open all the time, but mostly. Yes, it'll be out of the door like a shot to go and have a bite. So I hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane, whether you could see it or not. Perhaps you could hear the stentorian voice. All right, until tomorrow morning, when we'll be back with our early morning tongue-in-cheek look at the news. Keith Hayes, Mirador Television.